that's the trend. Gaza is a state. It's not de jure, it's a de facto, but it's a state. It's Palestinian. The West Bank is Palestinian. The whole world sees the West Bank as Palestine. And what's left? Israel. Israel has 1.5 million Palestinians. And if you think that to destroy the Jewish nation, you need 51%, it's a mistake. All you need is that no prime minister in Israel can be elected without the Arab vote. In other words, if they are in the balance, if you have right and left, and to form a government you need just this little bit, then they're going to tell the prime minister, and there's always going to be a prime minister who will convince us that this is the best thing to do. They're going to tell him, abolish the law of return for the Jews. Or apply the law of return on the Palestinians as well as the Jews. And that's the end. You don't need bullets. They cannot win Israel by force, by military force. What they can do, and they are doing it, and they are applying it. We have 10 members of parliament who are Arabs. They have nothing to do with Israel. They are working as Palestinians, as a fifth column within the Israeli Knesset. And all you need is another 2 or 3 Palestinian Knesset members. They can make all the change. So we are sort of putting, like an ostrich, putting our head in the sand and saying, there's no Arab problem in Israel. If we make a 2-state solution, we're not going to have apartheid, we're not going to have one state for the Jews and the Arabs, we're going to have a Jewish state and an Arab state. How wrong it is. So, what I want to do is, I want to invite you to join. You cannot imagine what every one of you can contribute. You don't need to spend more time than is necessary, more time than you can give. And Lily here, Lily, would you like to write? You can register with Lily, anybody who wants to participate in finding a solution of the Israeli-Arab conflict is welcome, more than welcome. And don't say, well, what do I know? I don't know anything about it. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a demographer. I'm not a mass media man. You cannot imagine what you can do just with common sense. You can give an idea. You know, when I made my research, my PhD, I used to sit in a cafe and speak to people. And by speaking to them, I got ideas. And it helped me a lot. Sometimes when you discuss things with people, you come with an idea, you say, how is it that I didn't think about it? And so I really would like you to join in this. And I would like also to invite you to the next conference in Ariel University on December 2011. I can tell you that Ariel University is only 26 years old, but we have already 12,000 students, Arabs, Palestinians, Jews, Russian immigrants, Ethiopian immigrants. We have more Ethiopian immigrants than any other university in Israel. Not per capita, more than any other university in Israel. And it is a wonderful atmosphere. I can tell you I taught in Tel Aviv University for 15 years. And I left Tel Aviv University for Ariel. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Given all the facts that you have stated, and given the state of the world as it is today, my question is going to be, a gentleman over there thought that there was a possibility that what's happening in the world today is possibly for the good. I don't know how anybody can have that opinion, but anyway, somebody did. My question to you is, how you said something to me also. How can we possibly, where is there a possibility of optimism when the cards are so heavily stacked against Israel? Europe has, Elie Wiesel said that Europe is more anti-Semitic now than it was at the time of Hitler. Where is how can we have any optimism? How can I have any optimism?
Well, this is a very good question and a difficult one. But there is a lot of optimism. And, if Herzl did not have optimism, Israel had not have been created. And when you see all over the way in the last 100 years, the greatest thing that happened in the 20th century was the birth of the State of Israel. It's amazing. How can we do that? By being united, by one voice, by deciding on the right path, by being able to say what our way is. Because until now, if you have 3 Jews sitting in a conference, you have 5 ideas. And I'm not saying something that is not true. Because within negotiations, for example, with the Palestinians, always those who made the negotiations said, we are 3 people, everybody speaks on his own, everybody has a different thing, while the Palestinians come in and they speak in one voice. Speaking in one voice is one of the most important things. Now, it is important for the Israelis to speak in one voice. It's also important that the Jews abroad speak in one voice. What we are trying to do is to change the concept. What we are trying to do is to change the idea, the path that started in 1993. We want to do this in Israel, and want to do it the same way we want to do it abroad. I hope we'll succeed. If we don't succeed, then we have a problem. But I hope we'll succeed.
You talk about creating a think tank. We have there are a number of Jewish think tanks. For example, I'm thinking about the Washington Institute. It exists to support Israel, basically. Have you approached these people with your common sense to try to make them understand that Israel has been slitting its throat with the assistance of the mainstream Jewish organizations for at least 10 years, maybe more, 15 years. So have you approached these people?
I know that there are many organizations that are dealing with also view on the Israeli conflict and also about Israel, but we are in contact with a few organizations in the United States. No, the Washington Institute we haven't approached, but I'm not sure that the Washington Institute is doing exactly what we are doing. In other words, whether he's thinking is he doing the same?
They're decidedly to the left, but they need to talk to somebody like you.
Okay. If you could give me the address and the telephone number, I would be happy to approach them. It's very important.
All right.
Next question.
The President's commission about changing the form of government from a representational to, or from a proportionate to a representational form of government, and if that's got any chance of succeeding.
Well, I did work on this in the past. The proportionate vote is not going to do us good. Why is that? Because of the proportionate vote, we have 10 Arab members of parliament who, I don't mind if there are 10 Arab members as long as they feel Israelis. But we have 10 Arab members who have nothing to do with Israel, and they are doing nothing for their people except being a Palestinian fifth column in the Knesset. We need to have the other system, the system of it's the system of zones, whereby if we have zones, we can reduce the number of members of the Knesset maybe by half, which is very, very important, because, as I tell you, the fear is that at some time or another, they don't have to be 51%. All they need is to be the balance in any vote. So it's important that it will change. I have been working on it. The Knesset is working on it, but not officially. No, I'm afraid it's a little bit dormant. But it's a good thing that you brought it up, because I think that it should be followed. It should be followed.
Jews died in the 1930s and 40s in Europe. How is it anywhere near as anti-Semitic now as it was back then?
Well, I've been saying this for the last 2 or 3 years, that I feel that we are in 1938. The Nazis would never have been able to destroy 6 million Jews if it were not for the hatred of the European countries. And I feel that this is coming back. What's happening today is that instead of the Jews spread in Europe, because there are fewer Jews in Europe than there used to be, Israel is the target. But it's not only Israel, because if, God forbid, Israel's position will dwindle or go down, it's going to affect the Jews all over the world. And we are having, for example, Jews coming over as immigrants, new immigrants, from France, from Italy. They're being persecuted in their places of work. They're being persecuted in the streets. They've been beaten in the streets. This is something like the Sale Juif that was in France in 1938. Not in Germany. In France, dirty Jew. So, if you want me to compare, yes, I can compare. We are in 1938 now. And if we have to take caution, thank God we have Israel. Israel is a very strong country, stronger than we can imagine. Only what Israel has doesn't work with the illegitimacy of the Europeans, the Muslims, the Arabs, the Third World. That's the problem. Well, I think that things would change. Of course, I'm being optimistic, but if I were not optimistic, maybe I wouldn't have lived in Israel. The feeling is that things will turn right. Will turn right in the end. And why is that? Because things cannot go wrong all the time. In the end, they turn out right. This is what happens, you know. And we've had many wars in the past. And I believe we haven't finished with the confrontation with the enemies. But I'm optimistic, and I hope you are too.